ASML just reported their Q4 numbers, and although you might see some misses here and there with regards to what the market was expecting towards what the company actually reported, whether it's this quarter or guidance, the big number we should all focus on is quarterly net bookings. In Q4, that number reached 9.2 billion euros, of which 5.6 billion is EUV. Now, 9.2 billion euros for this quarter is a huge increase from where we were in Q3. I think it's tripled that number. Now, some might say, yeah, okay, great number. I think it's a record for them. But that might be because in Q3, a lot of those companies, a lot of those net bookings got pushed towards Q4. And that's why we've seen a very low Q3 and now a very high Q4. Might very well be. But this just shows us that the sentiment right now in the semiconductor industry might be changing. We have already seen some great numbers with regards to TSMC. That video will be in the top right corner. Now we're getting ASML. It's pretty promising for the other semiconductor players out there. Now let's read a couple of comments here. So ASML achieved another strong year in 2023 with 30% growth, ending with total net sales for the year of 27.6 billion euros, gross margin of 51.3%, and a backlog of 39 billion euros. We shipped the first module of the first high-NA EUV system, X5000, to a customer before the end of the year. The semiconductor industry continues to work through the bottom of the cycle. Although our customers are still not certain about the shape of the semiconductor market recovery this year, there are some positive signs. Industry and market inventory levels continue to improve, and litho tools, lithography, utilization levels are beginning to show improvement. Our strong order intake in the fourth quarter clearly supports future demand. Now, with regards to outlook, they expect first quarter net sales between 5 to 5.5 billion euros. That's a bit of a miss from the estimates. I believe the estimates was 6.3 billion euros. And gross margin between 48 and 49%. They continue by saying, we maintain our conservative view for the total year and expect 2024 revenue to be similar to 2023. We also expect 2024 to be an important year to prepare for significant growth that we expect in 2025. Now, in 2023, they also increased their dividend payout by 5.2%, and in the fourth quarter, they did not repurchase any new shares under the current 2022-2025 share buyback program. Now, you might say, okay, a bit disappointing that it's going to be a flat-ish year, but that's exactly what the market and the analysts were expecting. If you look at the numbers here for fiscal year 2024, sales and EPS growth, basically flat. But then, in fiscal year 2025, huge reacceleration. 21.45% year-over-year growth for sales and close to 40% year-over-year growth for EPS. So yes, you have to be comfortable paying, let's say, a premium for a company that is basically operating in a monopoly, having a flat year, but then see explosive growth a year after that. Now, before continuing, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, we really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get a top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Going back to the major overview here. So net sales for this quarter reached 7.23 billion euros, of which installed base management sales of 1.55 billion. Of course, an increase quarter over quarter. Then with regards to the new systems sold, so new lithography system 113 compared to 105 in Q3, and used one 11 compared to 7 last quarter. And as for net bookings, as I said previously, tripling basically quarter over quarter. Now, for the full year, of course, much lower. Cyclicality was expected. With regards to gross profit, 3.71 billion euros for the fiscal year 2023, we're basically increasing here by around 40%. Gross margin 51.4% compared to 51.9% in Q3. Net income just over 2 billion euros. Last quarter just under 1.9 billion euros. And then EPS 5.21 compared to 4.81. Then for the full year, a nice little increase there. Now, where do they sell all of these systems? Well, first of all, we have here a quarterly breakdown, Q4 2023 compared to Q3 2023. So first, let's start here with the end use. We're seeing here already a big shift. In Q3, we've had 24% memory. We're now having 37% memory. Logic went down, of course, 76% to 63%. We've talked about Micron. We've talked about the analyst expectation for the memory market in 2024, way more bullish than last year. And then with regards to the regions, last quarter, 46% China. This quarter, still a big number, 39% China, 13 Taiwan compared to 24 Taiwan. And we see the United States basically going from 5% to 11%. So yes, China here, still a big chunk of their sales. With regards to the yearly breakdown, we have a bit of the same here, but with the end use, I think in 2024, you are going to see the shift a bit more. From 2022 to 2023, memory went down. We know 2023 was not a great year for memory. I expect 2024 to be a much better one. With regards to the region, 2022, 42% Taiwan. In 2023, 30% Taiwan and 29% China, 24% South Korea. And of course, with the new exports restrictions, expect these numbers to change drastically also in 2024. Now, one last thing here, of course, it pays you a dividend with a yield of 0.7%. Now, that might not seem a lot, but as you've seen, they increased it by 5.2% or so year over year. Now, if you bought it, let's say, back in 2014, you were getting 52 cents. You're now getting 1.23 cents. So that's more than double, despite a small yield. On paper, you're growing your dividend payouts much faster than a lot of other companies that have a higher yield. And so last thing here, we're looking at the graph. Of course, great recovery since the end of 2022. Again, this is a cyclical business, but despite this being a cyclical business, we've seen their backlog. So even in a down cycle, they're still working through their backlog that are worth billions and billions of euros. And then when the recovery starts, of course, you will see the expectations in 2025, huge recovery. Now, we're already pretty close to all-time highs. We were around $860, $880 or so. We're now at $819, which probably means that RSI is going to be extremely close to being overbought. And since we are in a year of being flat, at least that's what they say. Maybe they're putting the bar low so they can exceed that. Could very well be. Great management, great execution. Maybe you would like to add, when it comes back down a little bit, maybe closer to the 20, 50, or even the 200-day moving average, even though that's much lower at around $665 or so. So yeah, if you have already a position, you should be very, very happy holding this very, very strong company. If you're looking to add to your position or open a new one, I would say buy the weakness or dollar cost average into that position. So that will be it for this video. Again, great message for all the other semiconductor players out there. I believe we're going to enter a new cycle and, well, the results will speak for themselves. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.